Today we're going to talk about when is the best time to exercise. So I find it's pretty good to exercise before you start like working and stuff, because your work is going to be affected by your energy levels and how you feel, blood flowing and stuff like that in your mind. So before you really start working, kind of in the morning, you want to do your exercise. Now you don't want to eat like immediately before. So if you've eaten, then give it maybe an hour or so that way you don't last time when I was walking, it's like it hurts. It feels like you're like puke or something. So don't eat. But then if you don't eat, if you haven't eaten yet, if you haven't eaten breakfast, then just go for a walk and that's it. So the best time to be working out is in the morning before you eat, or a couple hours after you eat. And then later, maybe even at night, you can do another workout, because that way, you can get yourself tired to go to sleep. So those are the two best times, in the early morning and then kind of in the late evening. So by now you know the routine. We're just gonna walk out the front door and past the car. Now, if you thought I was gonna skip my daily workout, yeah, it'd be crazy. This stuff is the magic. Now, what I do need to do is get my sunglasses, so let's go back. Yeah, okay, so you kind of go learn things. You do things, you learn things. It's kind of how it works. Okay, so we just took a trade, and I remember walking down the street months ago, in the year, and listening to people talk about trading, so I could learn how to trade. And, well, now I guess I should share my secrets. Because I've had a lot of trades, made a lot of money. I haven't lost very much, right? So we're talking at least, 3x, 4x versus, 1x loss. So this can be like $20,000, $30,000 gain, $5,000 loss, something like that. Maybe it was a little less gains than that, 15 to 20, something like that, and 5,000 loss. So it's it's about a 3 to 4x gain overall, basically. Now the secret is to not lose. That's it, because, well, you're gonna have winners at some point, right? People have winners, and that's why they get into the game, right? Because they know that they're gonna have winners. And sometimes they do have winners, and then of course, then that's when they think that they're getting good, and then they start putting more money down. But the truth is, every different trade has like different risk limits, and oh man, it's just so complicated. So the most important thing is just don't lose. If you don't lose money during your losses, like I lost earlier, but I didn't lose money. I lost the trade, I didn't lose money. You see? So you have to figure out, how do you lose the trade without losing money? When you do that, you can keep trading. So remember, the number one rule is to continuously trade. I actually had $13 or $10 in my account to trade with that, I didn't really expect that. I didn't think there would be anything in there, because I took all the money out and I moved it to another account and just kind of did some stuff with it. It was kind of hard for me to trade for a while, so I decided to stop. And that's another thing you gotta do. Like, you gotta stop trading. If you're not making good trades, you have to stop trading. And it's really important to evaluate your trades with a very conscious, very, just a straightforward mind. You can't have any emotional bias or any kind of like feeling about your trade, because if you do, you can't put a lot of money down on your trades, because if you do, all of a sudden you're freaking out, and that's not good. So you need to think about it, clear your head, as if it was just a game. It has no outcome, whether you win or whether you lose. So, because I was playing with $1, I was able to just not really care. Instead, it was more important whether I knew how to read the chart, figure it out. A puzzle. And from there, then it's like, are you right or are you wrong? That is a lot more important than winning or losing. Because if you're wrong, then you have to figure out why you're wrong and learn how to figure out how to read it right. And if you're right, then that's good. Because now, you know you're getting better. You know things are gonna, you're starting to learn how to read the charts. But at the same time, oftentimes, you may know that you're right. You make a call, and then fuck it up. And just fuck it up. And then you're like, but at the later, it was like, but I was right. But I was wrong by a little bit or something, You messed something up, but you were right. Oh, it happened at the end. Well, the thing is, you put down too much money. You started losing. You started getting emotional. And then you didn't plan for the loss that was inevitable. Like, you're gonna lose so much. So, just make sure not to lose money if you lose the trade. Simple. So now here's what's really cool. We made about like $3 or $4 on that trade. I put down $1 in risk, and we made about $3 or $4 in profit. The first trade, I lost $1. The trade before that, I lost a penny because I didn't calculate the entry. That's okay. I lost a penny. Otherwise, I would have lost $1. But anyway, the point is, you want to play with 10% of your account every time, and you want to go for 3 to 5 R. 3, 4, 5 R. That's kind of what you want to be aiming for. And this is what happens. You might lose like 10, 20 times, but you're still going to have money in your account. If you start with like $100. I mean, if you start with $10, you only really have like a few trades before you're at zero, but I think I could do it. I only have $10 in the account, and then we just made it 15, maybe even 16, I don't know. So next time, instead of trading with only $1, we trade with $1.50. So now we're actually increasing how much we're playing with by 50%, which is pretty awesome. So that means if we win, we're gonna make 50% more money. And since we won $3 to $4 that time, I don't know what he was asking me. Fuck around with shit at all? Anyways, some guy just drove up to me. Anyways, so what was I saying? What kind of a question was that? You fuck around with shit at all? Like, come on. It's kind of like the worst sentence I ever heard in my life. Now, yeah, so the cool thing about this method is you always want to stop out small. You're only going to lose that $1 or $1.50, and so put that down. Well, that's not a big deal, right? You can lose 10 times, but every time that you put down a trade, it's going to be 10%. It has to be 10%, which means if you start losing, it's not going to be $1 anymore. It's going to be like 75 cents, 50 cents, 25 cents. You see what I'm saying? So you play with less when you lose. You start losing, you play with less money. So you lose less, right? Play with less money, you lose less, you keep losing. Or you can play with more money because you keep winning. You keep winning, you get a bigger account, you start playing with more money. And you're always playing with 10%, so it's nice. I mean, obviously, at some point, playing with 10% becomes pretty intense. So you might want to play with a little less than that. But like the same principle really applies, is you're just kind of like trying to calculate like how many losses is it really going to take for me to drain my account if I play with this percentage. If you play with 10%, it's going to take you 20 to 30 losses in a row before you get zero. That's a lot of losses in a row. chances of you actually winning is going to be much higher. Like, you're going to have a higher chance of winning some point during that 20 or 30 lose streak. So, when you win, you always want to be playing 3 to 5x. And that way, you know, it just works. I don't know what to tell you. That's how it works. Anyway, next topic. We're about talking about something called the Epiphany Bridge. Epiphany Bridge. And this is something that one of my coaches, my business and my marketing coach, taught me. Russell Brunson. So he taught me the Epiphany Bridge. And what that is basically any time that you're going to be revealing any kind of information or any kind of like advice or anything like that, there's a really good way to persuade someone to like believe you, to really connect with the story, to really motivate them to take action, maybe get them to believe that it's even real, you know, and to entertain them as much as possible, to keep them hooked into the story, to draw them in, because, well, all those things are really important to convince someone about something. So the Epiphany Bridge, well, we have to memorize this Epiphany Bridge, and it's hard to memorize things, right? We'll try to break this down into 5 parts, all right? So first part is introducing yourself and giving yourself like a little backstory, how you got started with things, and also your particular motivation. So like, I guess we could call that part 2. So like, let's see if we can get a broad overall thing. This is the last part is going to be the 2 journeys. So we'll go there, we'll go backwards. 2 journeys are there, and that's going to be basically your tangible results and your like your external results, and then your internal results. So what you got out of things and how you feel about things. So those 2 things, what you got and how you feel about it, is the last part, number 5. Number 4 is like obviously the you know, how you actually did it, right? Like the full shebang storyline, I guess, right? What worked? What was the magic trick that made it happen? The secret. Okay, so that's number 4. Number 3 is probably, so there's like a wall somewhere. You gotta put the wall as number here. Okay, so we'll put the wall as number 2. So number 2 is gonna be the wall. Because the wall is the things that are really difficult. They're stopping you right now from getting you to move forward. And number 1 is going to be the intro, and including your internal and external desires. So what you want out of things in sort of the tangible world, in which what you're going to feel about things in the, like what you're going to feel. So it's basically the same thing as the end, but it's kind of the opposite, because at the end it's like the good, and in the beginning it's like the bad. So it's kind of like a before and after picture here. Then you hit the wall, then you're gonna come to basically the good guy and the bad guy, like the hero and the villain. So they're gonna kind of like square off here. You're gonna meet someone who's gonna tell you the way, or you're gonna find the way, but at the same time there's still gonna be the bad guy that's holding you back. Okay, so you're gonna find the truth, but there's still the evil holding you back, right? And so that's part 3. Part 4 is when you finally break through it and discover the secret. And then finally, at the end, is what you got out of it and how you feel about it. So now we've broken this down into 5 parts, this little Epiphany Bridge script. You can see how it's like, it's quite powerful. Yeah, so we're kind of running out of time here, but I'll just go ahead and try to prove this, that it works. I'll tell the Epiphany Bridge of how I got started exercising, right? So So basically, I mean, you know me, I'm not really good at working out. I'm getting a little tired right now, as usual. It's always been this way. I mean, I used to be pretty athletic back when I was a kid. Soccer, you know, I did baseball and soccer, a whole bunch of different sports and stuff like that. And well, eventually, I don't know. It just felt like my mind was more important than the body, so I stopped doing that. And of course, eventually I sort of ran into the problem that, well, this is now the wall, right? Well, what I really want out of all this, I wanted to, you know, I just wanted to get really smart, and I really didn't think that, you know, working out was super helpful. It's just kind of like boring, waste a lot of time. I sort of mentioned these things, previous things. So those are the internal desires, the external desires, but I ran into this problem because I got to the point where my mind was really smart and I could think of these plans and come up with new strategies. I can't really execute properly because, I don't know, I feel like weak, running out of energy. And so that's my wall. Now, for a long time I've been trying to, I'm totally lost, by the way. Oh, Jesus. Yeah, so for a long time, like, I've been trying to, like, you know, keep doing stuff, I guess, and trying to stay in shape, but it's just, like, it's hard, you know, like, you don't, it's hard to stay consistent, and, you know, it's kind of boring, as usual. But here's how I discovered the secret. See, now we're moving on to part 4, which is my secret. I discovered the secret. It's simple. What we're doing it right now, I'm recording my life, basically. Everything I do in my life needs to be recordable, filmable, so that way I can film it and post it on YouTube. So when you do that, all of a sudden, like, exercising becomes really important, because now it becomes fun. I can do this while exercising. Talk. You're gonna do something else while exercising, recording, talking, etc. So now you put those two things together. Now it becomes fun. It becomes interesting. It becomes part of the daily routine. Now I'm holding accountable. You see? And now these are sort of the internal and external results, because now I can do it. I want to do it. It makes me feel good. And it's pretty awesome. So that is the Epiphany Bridge. Damn, I walked so many blocks out of the way. Holy moly. That's the problem when you can't see. You just don't even know what street you're on. So going back to the secret, you gotta lead a pretty rigorous lifestyle to be able to film everything, right? You need a lot of energy. So what's the next thing to do? We're gonna need to go get some food. So look for part 2 on Italian sandwich making.